Hello everybody, I'm in a bit of a 500 series mood at the moment, as you can probably tell, after having picked up that lovely new in the box 504, which actually matches the colour of my top today. Look like something out of Sesame Street. Anyway, I thought I'd bring to you the original machine in the run, the Z500. So this is one I picked up last year, about June time. And as you can see, it's very, very discoloured. It's faded. It's trying to turn into a different kind of colour altogether. If we look at the top here, there we go. That was the original colour, that whitish grey. And then it's kind of morphed into a bit of a caramelly colour. And then when we get to the hood, that's trying to turn into some kind of brown. But this is inevitable with coloured plastics over time. This one dates from, I think it's about the 20th week of 1972, something like that. So you can't expect it to be perfect after all that time, and it has certainly been used. When I picked this up, oh, it's filthy. It absolutely stunk. It it took some cleaning, put it that way, but it was well worth it, because actually when it's in use, it cleans up a treat and cleans the carpet a treat. Sadly, it has this whistle that I cannot get to work, and I've taken it out, I've cleaned it, I've done everything you can possibly do to them, and it's still not working. So there might be a way that I can sort it, but it's not the end of the world. Like I say, the body has discoloured, but it hasn't really, on here anyway, got too many bumps and scratches. The hood is a different story. The hood has got quite a few gouges and things in it, but it's all been cleaned. So what I'd actually done, I'd given it a wipe over before, let it air outside. So it would have been, it would have been June last year. Weather was fairly decent, so I could leave it outside all day. The smell disappeared. Caked it in Zaflora just to try and mask it, but it's all fine now. Didn't really do much to it after that, apart from changing the brush roller, because these actually had a roller that had fixed brushes, so you couldn't actually take the strips out or anything because there were no strips. It was just a fixed brush roll. So I replaced that with a spares from an old machine that I had, put some new strips in it. Now, because I was doing the 506 recently, I've done quite a few 502s. I think I've done about 4 of those in the last couple of months. And obviously I got the 504 the other day. I thought, right, let's give some love to this little lady. So I've actually removed the motor, soaked all this bottom part, washed it. I haven't soaked this top bit yet. I mean, I may still do it, but just based on the colour of it and the fact it's pretty clean now anyway, I might not bother. So the bottom was all washed. The motor, I stripped the motor and cleaned it all up. That's running nice and smoothly now. It was okay before, but it was kind of a bit whistly and graunchy when you switched it off. Underneath, I have soaked the plate and scrubbed at it, but you'll see, if the light picks it up, doesn't look perfect. It still looks like it needs a good clean, but believe me, it has been soaked. And interestingly, let me prop my knee up to give it some support. There are no suction channels at all. So I pointed out on the early 502, that has the suction channels at the front. So they're all at the top here, and there's quite a few of them. Later models, you get one this side and one that side. But this hasn't got any, which is quite interesting. So I haven't actually tested to see how well it cleans up against skirting boards and things like that. But now that she's had a bit of a refurb, I'm bashing it into the door. I've had to put some grease and lubrication around the wheels because they were a bit squeaky. There's the little wheels at the bottom here as well. She actually runs really, really nicely. I'll just show you inside. Let's do it that way, there we go. So I polished that up last year and that's still fine. I made my own donut because it didn't have one. I'm not very artistic, so it's never going to be perfect, but I think I've got a spare one, so I can put that in now. We've got the old yellow bags with the clip. This is early 80s because it's got the black writing. And then inside, we've got the filter, top filter. I've put a SIBO air freshener. And then there's the cage filter below that. So nothing fancy, no speed selector or anything like that on this. Check that's in, yeah. Just clamp the bag on. The switch is the wrong way round. So it's down at the moment and that's off. Whereas it should be by rights. Sorry, I forgot that was plugged in. By rights, it should be the other way. I took it out just to have a look, and the way that the wire's been done, if you turn it upside down, one side doesn't reach either connection, so it only works one way. So unless I can get some replacement wire and try and fiddle about with it, it's going to have to stay as it is now. It's not the end of the world. I've got a few that are like that. Does it change my life? Does it make my life worse? No, it doesn't. On the back, it's pretty cool because it's all different colours. We've got blue handle here, the cord release and storage hook. That's a sort of orange. The handle's in good nick. That's not broken. Obviously your cord goes around there. That's all fine. There's a bit of the old colour still lingering under there, which is quite funky. It's like it's had a bad suntan. And then underneath, or at the back rather, this is our suction control. So we twiddle that to let some of the air escape. Inside, it's clean, it's a little bit mucky, but it's not too bad. Certainly a lot better than it was, trust me. Put that back to maximum. Pedals in the funky orange as well. So at least those bits still match. But yeah, so I turned that on by mistake then. Apologies for that. Kind of spoils what I was going to do, so we can just hear it running. So there's a smooth motor wind down now because it used to grunch a bit. I think it was just a bit tight, the armature and the spindle. It's got a genuine belt on, replacement brush roll with genuine brush strips as well, which is great. I've also found that by doing that, it has really improved the suction when you attach the hose. Now, I was lucky enough to pick up last year a toolkit specifically for the 500, so this would have been the first sort that came out. I won't open it this way because it'll all fall out, but if we do it like that, I'll tilt it slightly. There you go, you can see you've got a woven hose, an extension tube, the deluxe flip over floor tool, usual standard crevice tool, and two-way dusting brush. I plug this in and you do get a bit of suction through it. It's very, very leaky. This is probably like the leakiest woven hose I've got in my collection. So let's just pop that down, take it out. I mean, I'll try and show you what this is like, but you need to be here in person really to appreciate it. So we just pop that in the back, like that. If it will go. It should just slide and twist, there we go. Can you see that? Yes, you can. So if I switch this on, you can hear that there is a difference. However, I had a bit of a play about with a later style hose. Let's move that. Ta-da! So this one, crush proof. It's all plastic, these don't leak. And you have to be careful putting it in because I think this fitting is either because it's not worn away or it's not quite the same as that cup on there. I think it's slightly longer. It doesn't twist as easily and I don't want to start snapping plastic. So put it in and give it a bit of a twist. It's a tight seal. If you can, hang on, lift her up. There's a very tight seal on there. Put it down so I don't actually put the roller over the flex. Right, here we go. So it doesn't quite hold this up because it's heavy metal with a heavy handle on it, grip rather, but it's so much better. So I think if I'm going to use this in tool mode, I'll just use this later hose and keep the other one just for the sake of completion. I've got the manual as well. Funnily enough, I got all these three separately. I got the manual on its own, toolkit on its own, and the vacuum on its own. And all from different parts of the country as well. I've driven some miles, I tell you. But yeah, I think I might have shown this before, but it's just the introduction to this range and how you can use it. Make sure you put a plug on and you put the plug on correctly. And then there's just the explanation of like the bag whistle, changing the bag, changing the filter, what happens if it gets blocked, etc, etc. Nothing about replacing bristle inserts because obviously you couldn't back when this first came out. And then there's just the explanation of the toolkit and what you can do. The highly effective flip over floor tool, which 99% of users would disagree with, I'm sure. And then just a bit of blurb on the back about accessories and guarantees and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really nice to have. So I'll show you just a quick go of what it looks like performance wise. I'd have to say, even though this is probably the ropiest looking machine I've got, certainly colour wise, it might actually be the best performer. It performs, I think, better than some of the later mid-80s machines that I've got. And they've all got brand new brush strips and they've all been serviced and everything. But something about this, I don't know what it is. Although it's a little bit noisier than some of the others, and I think that's just through age and vibration, through the seals and stuff, it grooms really, really well. It's a bit like when I use my Sebo, because I've got a Sebo X4. This really, really leaves great track marks. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'll just give it a quick run, and then hopefully with this daylight, you'll be able to see how it's drawn tracks in the carpet. And bearing in mind that the carpet in my house is not like deep pile, it's very, very sort of bog standard, new development, builders chuck it in because it looks okay. It's that kind of carpet. So it does well, and it brings them up very nicely. So yeah, I'll just move the camera, move positions, etc. and we'll give it a bit of a whirl. little squeak of the roller at the end, but I'll see if I can get the camera to pick up. Here's quite a good example. Let me come round. Can we see? You can sort of. Light's terrible. We need a sunny day again. That's not too bad there. Let's try up here. Track marks here. Maybe you can't quite see. This isn't too bad here. That might be better. Can you see the track marks running across? It works so well. It really does. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I love it. I think it's a brilliant cleaner. It might look a bit ropey, but in terms of performance, I really don't think you can beat it. It grooves just as well as any kind of modern vacuum, considering this is the oldest, I think, upright in my collection. And I didn't mention about the flex. So the flex is grey. It's a bit like the grey flex you get on a 302. I've seen pictures of other 500s that have got this colour flex, so I'm guessing that this is correct. This is original. In the manual, I know it's black and white, but the pictures look like it's a dark coloured flex. So if you've got a white flex, that'd be interesting to see whether that's in that equivalent era of manual, because I think these ran 71 to 75, was it? I think they had a 4-year run. 502 replaced that, because effectively this shape is the same. Here we go, as if by magic. So it's effectively the same. Same hood, just slightly different badge on the hood, and the trim and everything is pretty similar. So yeah, it's a good little performer. Like I say, first of its kind. I think your entry level upright at the time would have been a 170, and cylinder wise you'd have had a 310 followed by 330 when that took over, a 94 replaced then by 302 and 305, and an 87 as your basic cylinder. So yeah, it was a nice time to be buying an Electrolux, I would say, early 70s. It's when all my favourites started coming in. I don't remember seeing any of these when I was younger. It was always 502 and 504 that were like more familiar. But you know, it's a nice little machine. I'm lucky to have it. I think probably what I'll do, I don't think I'll bother going down the retro brighting road, because I don't really know what I'm doing, and it could be a lot of fuss and hassle for nothing. I'll keep an eye out on eBay and Marketplace and things just to see if another machine comes up that's the body's in slightly better condition colour wise. You know, if it's dirty, it's not a problem, I can clean it up. But it'd be nice to have one that was a bit more like it originally looked. And I know my friend Chris has got a brand new one of these that's never had a plug on. So at some point in the future, fingers crossed, if I'm extra nice to him and bake for him and stuff like that, when we get together, we might be able to get a plug on it. We might be able to show it on here just so we can compare the two. You'll be able to see the difference with how ropey this actually looks compared to a better condition one. But yeah, bit of fun, just a chance to give it a clean, chance to give it a run, and it will see a bit of use from time to time now that the motor's running nicely, and makes it worth the effort.